think we're facing a major health problem if we can't get the kids more outdoors. It's not only a matter of changing the physical landscape of the school grounds. It's also a matter of changing the landscape in people's minds. We have just finished the 5th International School Ground Conference here in Lund, Sweden. And it's been arranged partly by the International School Ground Alliance, which is a network of city planners, designers, educators, and researchers from different countries. And the main purpose for this network is to create good, green, challenging, and good learning environments for children and young people.
A good environment for children is one that is play-rich and language-rich, which is why green play spaces are the best, because nature is so fascinating and wondrous. It sparks their curiosity. It's full of questions and things to explore and discuss and chat and share. So it's ever changing, it's never static. So for me, nature-based play environments offer the most diversity for children. The other things I encourage teachers and schools to think about are not just physical things to climb and hang from, but social spaces, spaces for gathering, for hiding away, for being on my own or being with my friends, and interesting ways to move through the space, so that challenge me physically or that guide me around a hidden curve, so there's something to explore on the way.
I think the green ground, with its diversity and its complexity, is a great model in which to teach children. The more we go outside, the more examples we have in front of us. The last thing you want to do is to need to travel a distance to put the children into this context. You want it to be immediate. So the school gardens, the school grounds should be that green landscape for the children.
My school is located in a natural natural location. We have a river near our school. We have a village. We have the bridge, and then we have a forest, the tree, and we make a wall climbing near the class. We use all the media as a tool to make a challenge. They must feeling, they must experiencing, they must do. So when they do, and then the challenge is the energy to change. And then when they have a commitment to change, let's make commitment together. We must change together.
You become what you experience. That's important to be able to have first-class experiences. That goes back to the school grounds and gardens. If we offer surroundings of high quality, the children benefit much more deeply. If we benefit the ecosystem, we benefit ourselves. By loving and understanding nature, we understand that we're part of it. There isn't anything more beautiful. There isn't a better kind of sense. You are at one with all the peoples of the world and with every plant. We're part of the great ecosystem. Death is the ultimate way of coming home. It is the ultimate peace. There is no greater silence. It's about the absence of pain. There's nothing alarming about it once it's taken place. So if we can put the dead pheasant on the table in front of the children and talk in these terms, we take away some of the terrors, the nightmares, the anxieties. Of course, before you get to death, and in every course of life. You meet pain, you meet difficulties of an immense mental kind. This is where you have to have the green landscape as a place to move into, where things are tranquil and where you can be helped to understand your feelings.
The school ground is a very important arena for children to get to know the nature, together with the adults from the school. They can lead them and make them comfortable outside. I've met children that are afraid of walking in high grass. I don't want it to be like that. I would like them to feel the confidence, the well-being the nature can give them. They need places for quiet places, that they can be alone and pick up sounds. They need places to harvest things, to taste, children love to collect things. That's a need they have to express, and the school ground, that's really the places to pick flowers, to pick berries, to pick apples. It's very important. It's a need.
Families have become disconnected from the land. They become disconnected from their food, of their source of their food, and so children really often don't know where food comes from, and that has a number of implications. It means they don't know about farming. They don't know. They often, if they're city children or suburban children, they often have a low regard for farmers. They don't appreciate what farmers have to do to grow the food that they have. They don't appreciate the power of growing. There's a difference between soil and dirt is something that they avoid. That they avoid. They're taught to avoid. They're taught that there's something wrong with it. Something's dirty, and that's bad. But soil is not dirt. Soil is life. Soil is an immensely complicated community of plants and animals and microorganisms, and that life depends on it. We're moving into a transition because of climate change, because of energy changes, when it's going to be much more important to have strong, resilient local food systems. And a community can't create a food system if it doesn't know how to grow.
We don't just learn from teachers, thankfully. We learn all the time from other adults and from each other. Children learn from each other. And we go on with that pattern. It serves us until we die. Why would we not admit that at school? Why wouldn't we use scientific evidence about the way that children learn, about the manner that they're motivated, and tie those things into their education? We're not using research enough.
We really think about the design of schoolyards as lifelong learning, and be able to create an environment that continues on. You're really creating a culture around these outdoor environments. And if a child is excited about a garden he's just planted, or a bug that he found that day, when he can come back after school or on the weekends with his family and show that to them, that idea that they are then the teachers and that they're sharing that knowledge with their other friends or with their parents is a sense of empowerment. And that's what you really are looking for. One of the things that I've noticed in my research as a professor in landscape architecture is that children can, if you empower them to understand, and the schoolyard tends to be the children's world. The classroom is the teacher's world. So even if you bring a teacher out into the schoolyard, it's still their place. And children, if you give them something that they want to respect, if you give them something other than a slab of asphalt, that just starts to happen. And it really enables and empowers them to want to take care of it. And that's where changing that built environment becomes so important. In the US, schoolyards and schools are the second largest landowner. So as a network, of spaces within a city, they can have incredible impact. So we really try to think about how you scale that concept. How can you, in fact, remove asphalt, have an impact on the heat island effect, create cooler spaces, increase shade that reduces the incidence of cancer in children as they grow up and they're older, and then also how do we help create schoolyards that are green infrastructure, and that green infrastructure really starts to look at reducing flooding and those types of impacts. And when you start to do that, then you move away from the idea of maintenance, because everyone says, well, you can't green a schoolyard because of the maintenance. Well, it's stewardship. And when you start to get children to understand that notion of stewardship, you're changing the culture of a child, of their family, and of the city as a whole.